There's a lot to unpack. So we got early hands on the Z Fold 7, the Z Flip 7, and the new watches. No buds this time, but we do have an extra Flip 7 FE. But we're gonna keep it very quick. What's new in the Fold 7? How does it compare to the Fold 6? And a very shallow dive into what's new in the Flip 7 and the new watches. Let's go. But there's one big change. I'm gonna miss it. We'll talk about that. So, the Galaxy Fold 7. Quite a few things that are actually new, and you'll notice those immediately. Firstly, the wider cover screen and a much slimmer body. I mean, much slimmer. I mean, it's incredibly thin and sleek. If you compare it to the Fold 6, you can clearly see the difference. It's actually much closer to a normal phone now. Maybe even thinner than some normal phones. And so it feels like an everyday bar phone, except it's got a display outside and a much larger display inside. And here's a comparison with the Fold 6 when both are folded, and that is when both are unfolded. Second, and you're not going to believe just how light it feels. In fact, it's lighter than the Galaxy S25 Ultra and lighter than the iPhone 16 Pro Max. It's a folding phone, and it's lighter than your regular phones. Third, the cover screen is now wider, and finally, it actually feels like a normal phone. I mean, clearly, if you just compare it to the last year's Fold 6, you can just see it's wider, guys. Now, there's a new flex hinge which makes it more durable, but at the same time, it kind of changes the resistance of the fold mechanism. But okay, it still does give you that flex view if you want it. And fourth, it's finally creaseless. I mean, sure, you can see it at different angles, but if you touch it, it's actually just non-existent. Fifth, the camera bump. It is very slightly bigger than the Z Fold 6, and that kind of makes sense because now they have a 200 megapixel sensor and it's actually 44% brighter this time. So that trade-off, totally worth it, I think. Now, we didn't take any photo samples because we got our hands on for like just a couple of hours. But of course, in the full review, we're gonna test that out. Now, these are the major changes on the Fold 7, but there are a few small things that I think you should know about. So that's the new color, Blue Shadow, and it's got this beautiful matte finish at the back. Very soft feel, it's got that satin vibe. In terms of durability, you've got Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection at the back, and the front display has Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2, the same one that we had on the Galaxy S25 Edge. And the frame is also stronger this time with advanced armor aluminum. And this time it's IPX8 and not IP48 as last year. And I think the new hinge mechanism has something to do with that. But of course, we'll know more when we spend more time with the device. Okay, let's talk about the display. So the cover screen is now 6.5 inches, but what's more important is that it is wider compared to the Fold 6. And oh man, clearly it just feels like a normal phone now when folded. The inside display is now 8-inch, so it's slightly larger. Now, here's the thing. The main display inside is actually 50% thicker this time. And that kind of adds to the durability of the screen inside, which is great. But here's the kicker. No S Pen support this time. Now, if you want to get into the technicalities of it, an S Pen requires a digitizer layer on top of the main display, and that would have made it thicker. But the whole point of making this phone was also to make it very thin, so some of you are gonna miss that. Yeah. Now, finally, let's talk about software. So you're gonna get, actually the Fold and the Flip are going to be the first devices that are gonna get One UI 8, the official version based on Android 16. And Samsung's gonna promise 7 years of upgrades, security upgrades, and Android upgrades. Now look guys, obviously there's gonna be a whole bunch of new Galaxy AI features. There's a really interesting circle to search functionality. We'll talk about that later someday. And there's Google Gemini. So all of that stuff, of course, we're going to cover in a detailed review. So follow for that. Subscribe for that. And finally, guys, the camera. So this time you've got a 200 megapixel upgraded primary camera. You've got an upgraded 12 megapixel ultra wide with autofocus this time. And of course, the 10 megapixel 3x telephoto lens. But I think what's really important is the fact that the primary camera can now shoot 44% brighter photos and the ultra-wide can shoot 56% brighter photos. And that, I think, is the more important thing. The cover screen has a 10 megapixel selfie camera, and this time, not an under-display camera on the main screen, but instead a 10 megapixel punch hole camera. So that's about the Fold 7. And I think this time it's a real difference between the Fold 6 and the Fold 7. And I think this form factor that's lightweight, that's thin, and it's really pocketable, it's really usable like an everyday phone, I think it's going to attract a lot of people, and it's going to change the way people think about a foldable phone. All right, now let's move on to Flip 7. And there are actually 6 things about that we really need to know. First is that really large bezel-less cover screen. I mean, it's gone from 3.4 inches to 4.1. Second, it's now 2600 nits bright. I mean, it's peak level with Vision Booster and it's 120 Hz refresh rate. So it's a really good cover screen now. Third, the main display has now gone from 6.5 inches to 6.9 inches, so you get more screen. And that also makes it wider. So it's not as tall as it used to be. It, again, feels more like a regular phone once it's, unflipped. Fifth, the battery. I think that's a really big one. It's gone up to 4300 mAh, which is actually significantly larger than what the Flip 6 or the Flip 5 had. And the sixth, the last, it's got Exynos 2500 as its primary chip. Now, there are some upgrades in the way the camera functions, especially on that cover screen. You get this really nice visualization around the rings. You've also got this timer that sort of animates when you start taking a photo. And I think that's a really nice touch to the cover screen, and I think it's going to be very useful. Now, the Flip 7 is available in 3 colors. You've got jet black, shadow blue or blue shadow, and the coral red. Oh, and the Fold 7 is available in 3 colors, blue shadow, silver shadow, and the jet black. But that blue shadow color is that's the one to go for. Now, there is going to be a Flip FE. We didn't get a chance to get our hands on that, but it's going to be available in 2 colors. It's essentially going to be a more affordable Flip that you could go for. I think that's a great move, just putting in the Flip into more hands. Although it is going to have a slightly smaller cover screen than the main Flip 7, and I think that's the main difference that you'd really see visually. But of course, we'll know more about it once we do get the device. And finally, coming to the watches. So there are going to be 2 watches this time, the Watch 8 and the Watch 8 Classic. And the Watch 8 Classic, it's actually going to have the rotating bezel, plus it's going to have a quick button. And you get all, it's a fancy watch. You're going to get IP68 protection, it's military certified, so it's going to withstand very cold weathers, very hot weathers, and it does have the sapphire crystal glass, which of course, makes sure that it doesn't get scratches or any kind of cracks. And these 2 watches are going to be the first watches to have One UI 8 running on them, and it actually feels really smooth. Now, these watches are going to come with a lot of new functionalities in terms of health and the kind of things it can monitor, but of course, all of those things to be talked about when we do get the watches. But yeah, that's it, guys. Those are the devices that we got our hands on and have launched at the Unpacked 2025. Of course, there's going to be a detailed review on all of these devices, so you might want to subscribe for that. Prices and variants is something I haven't talked about because I don't know that right now, but I am going to put that in the description as soon as I get to know, so check it out. Anyway, I hope this was really helpful, and if it was, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon, and mark all. Really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't have anywhere to go.